The whole thing started on one night, a very normal night. Sitting in my room listening to music, as per usual. Dogs barking at a fox, or just plain nothing. But that night, it was kinda different. Usually you can get the dogs to stop barking pretty quickly. However, they wouldn't stop, and usually it's just one of them barking at the door. This time, all four of them were barking threateningly at the living room door. My whole family thought this was strange, so my dad opened the door to the front room and switched the light on quickly. My dogs rushed in and started barking madly at the mirror. I laughed at this, trying to hide my slight fear. Maybe they're barking at the people in the looking glass house. I giggled to myself. We left the house, managing to get the dogs out, and locked it. The dogs didn't stop barking, and we shut them in another room, away from the front room. They still barked and kept us up all night. In the morning, I went into the front room to get my school bag. It was there, but I couldn't stop glancing at the mirror. I felt like someone was watching me. It was so freaky. When I finally found my bag, things were missing from it. My day planner and pencil case and sketchbook I have random ideas that pop into my head for drawings. I sighed, thinking maybe I left them somewhere. I swear they were here. I put it in the front room. I swear. When I got home, the same eeriness in the front room was there. On the coffee table was my planner, pencil case, and sketch pad. They weren't there before. Maybe my mom had found them and put them there. The hairs on my arms stood up, and I picked up my sketchbook again. I felt the mirror was watching me again, and I picked it up. I hated it. I almost ran out of the room. I didn't get much sleep that night. The dogs were barking at the door. I knew if they were, something was wrong. Although one of them slept in my room, whimpering slightly. I opened my sketchbook in the middle of the night after a horrid nightmare. What I found was horrific. Most of the pages had been taken up with dark drawings. It was too late at night to see them. I quickly drew up the image from the nightmare and snuggled back in bed. I felt as if someone was watching me again. I've always been so scared of people watching me as I sleep or in general. Mostly people at the end of my bed. I stayed awake until daylight and my alarm went off. I got dressed stiffly and the feeling of being watched was still there. The nightmare I had was pretty horrific. I remember snippets of it. I remember being in my room and looking in the mirror. Someone was behind me. A man with blank blue eyes, no pupil or iris, just a horrible icy blue. I remember his smile and his eyes, but everything else was a blur. I turned around to see him, but he wasn't there. As I turned back to the mirror, he was there, but he looked nicer. He was right next to me now. He put his hand forward and pressed a hand to the glass. I moved forward too, but I couldn't reach. Next, I remember running down the road. Something was chasing me. It was cold and unwelcoming, but it was my trail, and I definitely was gaining fast. I came to a wall and turned only to be swallowed in darkness, which is when I woke up. It may not sound scary, but it was. I didn't want to look in that mirror ever again. On the way to the school, I was listening to my iPod. It made the noise that it does when you change the song on shuffle, but I didn't touch it. The song that played was Cars by Gary Newman. I didn't remember loading that onto my iPod, but it definitely was on my computer. When I looked at the screen, the album cover was a scribbled sketch of a girl looking at the mirror and a man with his hand on the mirror on the other side. It wasn't one I've drawn, but it was good to see the one that was sketched in the dark. The song's name wasn't Cars, but Mirror Mirror, and the artist was On the Wall instead of Gary Newman. It covered my mouth. I thought I was going to throw up. I suddenly felt dizzy and smashed my thumb on the stop button and waited for the school bus to stop before rushing off and walking the rest of the day to school. The song was stuck on repeat and I couldn't change it. I was late for school, but I couldn't care less. I sat blankly in lessons and wrote nothing, just dreaming of going home. I no longer felt safe there, and I didn't want to turn my back on my iPod ever again. When I got home that afternoon, I decided to look through the sketchbook. I thought if I avoided all mirrors, it would go away. Upon opening the book, I found a series of drawings that looked like my dream. There was only one of the running silhouettes and a large shadowy figure looming over it. I tried not to cry. I looked through all the pictures. They were all in my dream, scene by scene. I didn't sleep that night, need I say. I managed to look in the mirror. It was just me standing there. I was so relieved, but I still felt watched. I managed to sleep. It wasn't the same dream. It was worse, much worse. This time I touched the mirror. The man smiled and pulled on my hand, pulling himself out. Blood trickled from his eyes, and his smile twisted into something horrible. He brought his face close and sung, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the stupidest girl of them all?" He laughed in my face, and his body twisted and morphed into me, still laughing horribly. I couldn't get out of his grip. I woke up screaming and sweating. My mom and dad were in bed, cold towels, water, and tears pouring down my face. I asked them what happened, and my mom told me I was having fits, screaming and twisting my body into awkward positions. It was 12 in the afternoon. My mom had already told the school. My stomach stung and so did my eyes. My whole body ached and I flopped back down into bed. My mom holding my hand. I could barely breathe. The man, the one who had laughed, he still draws in my sketchbook. I don't sleep anymore, so they're not dreams, but he draws. Even when my sketchbook is in my room, I'll leave for a second, and when I come back, it's wide open with a new picture. I can't bring myself to go near a mirror, let alone touch it. We did an experiment in physics with mirrors. I looked into one, hoping to get over my fear, but when I did, I saw his face, behind me, holding my shoulders, and smiling a twisted smile. I had a breakdown and was sent home, one of the worst places they could send me, back to him, back to his laughter. Why won't he go away? I'm just so tired I want to sleep. Good evening. She's fine. She's sleeping. Fun little stories she's posting, no? Such a sweet face. Yet so stupid. So funny. Maybe she'll give you some of my pictures of drawings. I quite like them. Signed, MV.